Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. Today, as you can see, it's mostly cloudy. A little bit of sunshine here and there. 45 degrees. 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. But still darn nice. We are going to be getting some stormy weather and some rain. So the time to walk is now. And then after the storm goes by, which I am glad it's going to be rain, we are going to get cold. A couple days with the high of 25 and the lows in the single digits. So we're going to get our walk in. I think I'm going to do a basic 5-miler today. My old route, the very first route. I also have the camera mounted on my head today, so my hands will be free. No particular reason other than I don't feel like carrying the camera in my hand for 5 miles today anyway. It'll be back. So we look both ways before crossing the street. So we got a few things to talk about today. I'm just going to start off with the U.S. Congress showing their true colors today. And what I mean by that, by true colors, so they have a CR bill that they're going to be voting on. The Democrats have packed it with a whole bunch of pork. Republicans have packed it with a bunch of pork. And the damn thing is 1,300 pages with 19 hours to read it. Nobody's going to read all that. You know, that's like reading the Bible 3 times in 19 hours. Nobody's going to do that. So they have their pet projects in there. Government spending, wasteful spending. And it's a continuing resolution on top of that. I'll wait till I cross over here. Thanks. So the CR bill, which is a continuing resolution, is supposed to continue the government functioning until the next FY funding year, 2025, which is going to be a Republican House and Republican Senate. But the Democrats in the Senate are trying to get all their last-minute pork products and spending in. Ridiculous things like a 40% increase in pay for Congress. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 40% pay increase for Congress, who has absolutely the worst approval rating in our history, Republicans and Democrats. Wouldn't you like to vote for a 40% pay increase for yourself? You know, wouldn't that be lovely if you could do that? These people are outrageous. So we're going to see what Mike Johnson, Republican House Speaker, has for gonads. And I strongly urge to shut the government down and not fund this foolishness. Let Trump get sworn in, and then in March, settle things then, when the next government funding bill comes up. Let the Democrats own the government shutdown. That's what I would do. You can't start off Trump's presidency with friggin' more government spending. And the thing is people are awake to it now. The American public is awake. They're not watching the mainstream media. They're doing their own research. And these people, namely Democrats, just lost elections because of crap like this. And apparently they don't care. So the American people need to send a message. I don't know how much of a bigger one you can send than giving Republicans the House and the Senate and Donald Trump. Thanks. But there you have it, folks. Washington, D.C. in a nutshell. %40 pay increase. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. They should actually get a pay decrease for the job they've done. Anyway, it's kind of cool with all the leaves off the trees. You can see out into the woods. I don't see any deer today. Yep, so we're gonna get more rain tonight, which is okay because, like I've been telling you guys, we we had a drought all year. The driest it's been since the year 2000, I believe. in Maine. So what's with all the traffic today? I realize it's a road and everything, but where is all this traffic coming from today? Anyways, took some magnesium earlier today. I woke up sore and stiff this morning, which is unusual. Got all the chickens out of their coop. I see 5 of them, 6. They're out of their coop banging around there. I don't know if you could see them. You can see all the school buses down there. School's getting out. I can hear all the kids. All right, so we hit just over 1 mile. It's a nice day for walking. There's no wind. It's 45 degrees. There's moisture in the air. And you can see just about all of this snow is just about all melted. I just wanted to get my workout today. You can see some ice down there in the swamp. So, I hope the Republicans actually have the testones, as testicles and cojones in one word, to let the government shut down and let the Democrats own it. The other thing Trump has been doing is he's been pressuring Republicans not to certify Biden's judicial appointees because he's doing a mass flooding with that. And they're all radical leftists on the bench, which everybody knows is a problem. So we need to delay that as much as possible, and I think the Republican senators have gotten the message. We're going to start playing hardball, okay? The public isn't stupid. They tried all their bigotry, racist and misogynist and xenophobe and insurrection, January 6th, dictatorship bullshit, and nobody fell for it in the country. And they're not going to fall for the tactics of criticizing Republicans for shutting down the government. The people actually want the government to shut down because they are sick to death of Washington, D.C., their politics, and doing what they're doing now. So Americans are not going to blame Republicans for it, I guess is my point. Just do it. Stop being a bunch of pussies and do it. The Democrats count on it because the Republicans cave every single time. They rattle sabers, they make a lot of noise, and then they give in. So we need to put an end to that. So we'll see if Mike Johnson is serious, and if he isn't, he should be replaced. And I really hate that because you've heard me say that a million times. The Republican Party needs to unify and stop all the infighting. Well, changing out the speaker would cause a lot of infighting. So I drove by this the other night. These were all lit up and it looked really nice. So, but as I've said a million times, when you have all of these lawn things, inflatables, when you get a storm, it raises hell. And we're gonna get a storm later tonight. So I'm assuming they're gonna deflate these. Talk about a headache, huh? You're gonna have to cut the power. Kind of tamp them down. Maybe put something with some weight on it on top of them. So they get some more over here too. There must have been a clearance sale. Look at them all. Don't worry, be happy, the sign says. Sounds good to me. And then across the street you have what I would have. 3, maybe 4. That's that house I told you about that had that old dog. And it looked like he didn't have much time left. So I don't see him. Maybe the old dog has passed away. So this is my very first, well actually we're going to do my second route, because there's a left turn up ahead when I was doing 4-mile routes before I upticked it to 5 miles. But we don't take that left any longer. But I do include it. I include it in my 6-mile walks. So the same route, for all intent and purposes, the same area, turned into 3 different routes. That's the kind of thing you can do when you walk. And I realize this is a daily walking vlog. So I'm not out here exploring new territory. And the purpose of it is daily exercise, especially if you're over 50. And this is beneficial no matter what age you are. If you're younger, you might prefer to run. But as I have explained, when I was 10 years old, I was in the hospital for a serious knee infection, almost lost my leg. And that was caused by falling on the playground and skinning my knee, and all hell broke loose. So that's the story with that. I could still run. I could still run probably for a mile or 2. But I will pay for it later. So in other words, I could run to save my life, not an issue. So I'm not worried about it. In fact, I actually had to run one day because we were headed to the range. And we had a basket with the steel targets on the tailgate of the truck, which I forgot to put the tailgate up. And when we took off, the basket flew out in the road. And we were down the road for noticing it. And then I had to hurry up and run before traffic got to it. And I was actually quite pleased that I could still run very well. It's just not something I do, because repetitively my knee flares up and I end up limping for a week or 2. So that's never good. So that's why I don't run instead of walking. So we have a liberal Christmas here. I know that because this person in this house always has Democrat election signs on her lawn. So we'll be coming up ahead where I used to turn left when I was doing 4-mile walks. And sometimes I still turn left up here if I did a woods walk gun talk, because generally speaking, when I do the woods walk gun talk, I stop recording video because that goes in the woods walk gun talk playlist. But I usually keep walking, so I come out of there and I finish the walk doing the route I'm doing now, and it turns into a 6 or 7 mile walk sometimes if I feel like it. But today we're just going to do 5 miles. But that's the way we used to go down for that. But you've seen me go down this way as part of my 6-mile walks on my alternate route. So technically we're doing my second most popular route, especially at night I love this route at night on a hot summer night. Now my rural road routes, I should say, I don't take those at night because they don't have sidewalks and they don't have street lights either. So it's kind of more out in the country and therefore not as safe. So we shall finish this walk here. Should come out to a little over 5 miles when I'm done, 5.2 maybe. And that's about what I want for today. So we're going to see a lot of good things over the next 4 years. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is a guy I saw on the internet, which is a veteran, older guy, and he said he was 62, I think he said he was. He made a video and posted it online saying that there was an executive order that Trump had signed when Trump was president that is still active, having to do with things like inaugurations and what have you, presidents. And because part of the left's rhetoric with January 6th was that Trump had signed an executive order saying that it was illegal to interfere with government business and proceedings. So this guy is calling for the invocation of that executive order and the removal of Trump from taking office. He claims, without any evidence, that December 20th is going to be the day Trump is going to be arrested, he said. He said Trump is going to be arrested and charged with interfering in the election because Trump's executive order prevents interfering in our elections without consequences. This guy is convinced, because of rhetoric online and other prominent Democrats that have stated that Russia interfered in our election and helped Trump to get elected, and therefore Trump is illegitimate. Which, by the way, they did the same thing. What country was that? Austria or Romania? It was Romania. The populist president won the election in Romania, and one of the high courts invalidated it on the basis that Russia helped him get elected by interfering with propaganda on the internet. So this is a tactic that they tried to use with Trump in 2016. It didn't work. And I think they might try it again this year. So we will watch that, and This Democrat is a nobody, but watching the video, he's got Ray Epps vibe all over him. About the same age, same demeanor, extremely polite, calm. Trump is going to be arrested and this and that, and encouraging people to show up January 20th. That's the key point to this, is the video is trying to get people to show up January 20th on Inauguration Day, presumably to stop Trump from being president, which sounds an awful lot to me like insurrection. I mean, you can't make this stuff up with these people. They've been screaming about insurrection for 4 years now, and now they're calling for people to show up in Washington and prevent Trump from being inaugurated. And he doesn't specify non-violent or violent. He just says people need to show up and protest. Well, think about this for a second. We have Inauguration Day. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of people showing up for Trump's inauguration. And a riot breaks out. What do you think is going to happen to the inauguration process? It's not going to stop it. They'll move it indoors in a safe location. Trump will be sworn in, and that'll be the end of it. It'll just be the left looking like the violent people they are, because they are. And we're going to have a stain on the America that I know and love, where we have a peaceful transfer of power, with a riot, which will actually be a violent riot on a larger scale than anything happened on January 6th, because they're going to feel like, well, Trump got away with it. He had his crowd of easily led buffoons riot on his behalf, so why don't we do it too? There's no consequences for it, why not? So, that's just my theory. This guy, I believe, who I'm talking about in this video, is more than likely a Fed, okay? FBI, trying to do like they did with Ray Epps, which they still deny Ray Epps was a Fed, even though everybody else involved with J6 got prosecuted except him and a handful of other people, because they were also Feds. Now, last week, it's revealed that the FBI had at least 26 undercover agents in the crowd on January 6th. We already know what they were doing. They were instigating violence and breaking into the Capitol because they're politically motivated and they wanted this to happen. We all saw the magnetically sealed doors unlocked. Capitol Police were waving people in. They removed barriers to allow people to go. They refused to have National Guard. When Trump offered them, he said it wouldn't be wise not to. So the whole thing was orchestrated, planned by Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of DC. Nancy Pelosi has final say in the policing in the Capitol. That's just a fact. It was her responsibility, regardless. So we'll see what happens, but the ones you don't trust are the ones that are on video, that are quiet, calm, and being rational. The ones you can ignore are the ones that make videos where they try to look menacing, threatening, maybe have their firearm with them, showing off their tattoos, wearing sunglasses and bandanas and trying to look all tough. Those are the ones you can ignore. Because the ones that are really bad and they really are the problem, they don't feel the need to do that. So this guy, I wish I could remember his name, but hopefully we'll forget about him and nothing ever happens. But you have to remember, when Trump was sworn in 2017, there was rioting. Stores were broken, windows smashed, people set fires. And then not long after that, we had the Black Lives Matter riots. It was like the left was waiting for an excuse to burn the country down. So, has there really been a change? We'll see. But I'm seeing a lot of Democrats shy away from that. In fact, one of the squad, one of the radical socialists in Congress who did not get reelected, as part of the point I'm making, she lost her election. She was one of the most racist, hateful, bigoted people in Congress, and a moderate Democrat ran against her and beat her and went on to win the election. So there's a lot of praise for people like Jared Golden in Maine here. Jared Golden, he's a flip-flopper, but I can tell you that he is sincerely a moderate. I just don't like a lot of the things he does or says, but some of the things he does and says I do like. That is a moderate. He doesn't follow the far-left extremist crowd, and he won his election. Democrats around the country that won their elections against Republicans were moderates. The far-left loonies lost their elections. So I think the message has been sent that Americans are tired of Democrats promoting ridiculous ideologies, promoting violence, and I think we're going to see a change. Now, the other thing I noticed, it made the news today actually. AOC was vying for a committee a high chair position on a committee, and she was denied by the Democratic Party, and it was given to an older guy who was a moderate. So that's where they're going, folks. They realize this far left extremism is not popular. People don't like it, and the Democrats are going to listen to the voters because the Democrats don't like losing. It's yet to be seen if they're going to be sincere in that, and they're just going to make it look like they're being moderate, like Kamala Harris lied about when she ran. But the people did not believe Kamala Harris. They knew she was being insincere, because you don't go from I want sex changes for prisoners and also illegals that come into this country for taxpayers to pay for it, because everybody has rights and you can be whatever you want, blah blah blah. And then she countered that by saying she doesn't feel like that anymore, and that was just 2019 when she was trying to be president. So the American people are not falling for that, thankfully. Now, the other piece of news I'm very happy about is it looks like Liz Cheney did witness tampering when she was running the J6 committee, and Trump said if she did anything illegal, she's going to be prosecuted. So we'll see what happens. And this is that beautiful tree. In the daytime, one of its balls fell off. It lost one of its balls. hate it when your balls fall off like that. So, the Democrat Party has a lot to fix. They're not going to be able to do it overnight. They have a real problem because these people that are going to be working on their campaigns are the same kind of people that have been indoctrinated in these universities with this far left stupidity. And you can't get rid of that out of someone for at least a generation. And the Democrats have to stop doing it. So Trump is going to keep his campaign promise of defunding these universities. And he should. He should defund all the sanctuary cities. Defund everything. He has the power to do that. Don't give him any money. Janet Mills in Maine, don't give her any money. I'm in Maine and I support that. Yes, that would be affect our infrastructure and issues like that, but we deserve it. When we pass transgender trafficking sanctuary bills and abortion bills in the dead of the night without putting it on referendum for voters, which the voters would not have supported it, which is why they didn't do that. Taking money from Congress that was intended for COVID, which they've been keeping it in a pot, and spending it on indoctrinating kids in schools and things like that. Damn right, defund them. Defund the main schools. Send a message. This is going to be this was a change election, and that needs to happen. And I think the American people would support it. So we're going to see a lot of these blue state governors try to buck everything Trump does with immigration. But Tom Lohman said that you cannot interfere with federal officers carrying out federal laws. That is a felony, and even if you are a mayor or a governor, you will be arrested. So be forewarned, he said. He has the authority to do that, and he said he's going to. And he's already had cooperation from some of these radical blue Democrat mayors. The Democrats realize that this is unrealistic for them. This immigration program is blowing up in their faces. Voters are extremely unhappy, and they're voting for Republicans because they're offering a fix. That's why it's imperative that the Republicans shut down the government over this stuff and send a message that there's a new sheriff in town and we're not screwing around. I fully support that. And basically it's going to come down to what Trump says, and we know Trump is going to support that also, which is why we voted for him. If Congress wants to go against Trump, they have the right to do so, but they're going to pay for it in the next election. And I think they understand that. We've already gotten 2 senators with Pete Hegseth, who normally would have been a problem, and they saw all the blowback that Joni Ernst got. And then when you have people like Elon Musk saying, I'm going to spend what I have to make sure you get primaried if you don't support this, that has a lot of weight. Joni Ernst does not want to pick a fight like that financially she's not going to win. We saw Elon Musk win Pennsylvania, basically, along with Scott Presler, which, by the way, is an openly gay Republican who went out, albeit being Laura Trump hired him because he was proving himself worthy, so he was given that job. And he came through. He registered thousands and thousands and thousands of Republican voters. And he did it by common sense. You know, you don't see him out there saying, "Look at me, I'm a gay Republican." Just everybody knows he's gay. He's talked about it before. He doesn't say it all the time to get people to register to vote. He doesn't have a gimmick like the Democrats do. He also focused on the Amish, who notoriously do not vote or get involved until the government started interfering with their farming. And gun owners. For some reason, gun owners don't vote. It's really astounding to me. They'll sit around complaining about losing gun rights and then they don't vote. It's like, I have no idea what kind of cancer of the brain causes that. But Scott Pressler got through to many of them. He visited many gun shops in Pennsylvania and just talked with people when they came in. Just spread the word and had his voter registration cards. And he made a difference. And the best thing that happened was the RNC firing Ronna McDaniel, who, let's face it, was soft. Probably a rhino establishment not wanting change, but opting for status quo. So they fired her and replaced her with Laura Trump, who has now stepped down as RNC chairperson. Mission accomplished. Many think that she is going to be appointed to be senator in Marco Rubio's spot in Florida, which Governor DeSantis can and probably will do. So we may have a Senator Trump coming up. Exciting times, folks. Exciting times. So there's somebody on a bicycle driving around picking up empty bottles and cans. Tough way to live. Bottles and cans here are only about a nickel a piece. So you go around and pick up all these bottles and cans, big load like that person has right there, and they probably got $3, maybe $4. I have a front hallway that's filled with empties. They've been in there for years. Now I just throw them in the trash. And you know, I should bag up all of these, but the thing is they're all glass bottles, which is why they're still there, but I need to get rid of those. But financially, it's not really worth it because they're not really worth anything. You know, you pay $2 for a bottle of something and you get 5 cents back on the return. I mean, it's not really a return, is it? It's not even getting the tax you paid for it back. We have between 5 and 6 cents per dollar here for a state tax. And I say 5 or 6 because we have a snack tax here. So you get an extra tax for things like candy bars and chips. So we'll see what kind of storm we get tonight. As far as I know, it's just going to be rain. There's going to be a lot of wind. I'll make sure nothing's going to blow around on the property. Hope everybody has a good Christmas. It's coming soon. It's coming quick. Pretty darn happy I can walk today without freezing to death, so that's good. I'm going to veer off to the side here. I have a little bit less traffic noise. It's the only reason why I do that. Yep. This is probably one of those days I would consider a nothing special walk. Special for me is maybe a walk where it's raining. Those are always interesting to watch back. Or nice bright sunny days. Or like the other night with all the Christmas lights, that was fun. But this one here, kind of average, mediocre, I guess. It's all right. Important thing is to always get your exercise. I've been seeing people online that do a lot more walking than I do, and they're also a lot younger, so good for you. Every one of my walks is daily, 10,000 steps at least. Every time I walk in 5 miles, I get at least 10,000 steps. It's about 2,000 steps per mile. And so you can increment from there. You walk 6 miles, you'll get about 12,000 steps, give or take. And I guess if you're shorter, with a shorter wheelbase, as my dad used to say, you probably get more steps than that. I have long legs, I'm tall, I take big strides. Like right now, I got a really good sweat going. My cardio is up, and I'm breathing nice and easy. That's when you know you have your stamina where you want it. And I have brought things like my Apple Watch with me on walks to monitor my beats per minute. When I go up a hill, it goes up between 120 and 130 beats per minute. And the key thing with heart health is how quickly it comes down when you come to a rest. Should only take a minute or two to come back down to somewhere like 70 or 80 beats per minute from 130. And then when you've been sitting there for a while, like with me, my beats per minute will be between 52 and 65, generally speaking. That's just like sitting at a kitchen table or relaxing, lying down on a couch or in bed. And that's about what you want. Olympic athletes will have between 40 and 60. And they are about as cardiovascular as you can get. So I'm in good shape. That makes me happy. That's why it's important to check that stuff. So the other thing I did last night, was I dug out some Christmas vinyl. I have a bunch of it, and there's a lot of it I don't have. But I dug out the Charlie Brown Christmas. Some of the best Christmas music on there. I also dug out 'Twas the Night Before Christmas television special. I also the Grinch That Stole Christmas vinyl record. I also dug out a Yuletide disco. It's all Christmas songs done like disco. It's pretty cool, actually. And also the Bing Crosby, which has White Christmas on it and all that stuff. Also dug out the Partridge Family Christmas. I don't have the Chippendale Christmas one though, from 1962. I don't have that. Hi, doggy. Hi, baby. So we're gonna head on up the hill. Right? Well, we just hit 4 miles. Starting to get a little cooler. So we'll see if that rain changes over to kind of a mixed precip tonight. If it gets colder overnight or not, I didn't check it. Still got pumpkins on their steps over there, look at. They're all rotten and smushed flat. Somebody ought to do a wellness check. It says 48 degrees. I don't believe that for a second. It says 48 degrees, December 18th. I'll tell you right now, it does not feel like 48 degrees. It feels more like 40. I got a good sweat going and I'm starting to feel cool. So I was walking with a long sleeve and a t-shirt, and it was 52 to 55. And 48 ain't that much different from that. And this feels cooler than 48, that's all I'm saying. I'm wearing gloves today. No sunshine equals cooler temperature feeling anyway. Well, coming up towards the end of another walk. We'll go around the corner up ahead, sign off sometime after that. Another one for the books. In other news, this is all worth it, because when you can put on clothes that you didn't want to throw away psychologically because they didn't fit anymore, and you're like, man, I don't want to throw these away, I don't want to donate them, I want to keep them because I feel terrible about myself not being able to fit in them anymore, and I'm gonna hang on to them because someday I might fit into them again. It'll be some dream I have or something. So I'm happy to say I had about a dozen pair of jeans that I had stored. And they're all like new, and I fit in them again. Some of them loosely. I'm very happy about that, and it comes from walking every day. But I really think a combination with the walking is I changed my diet. So walking like this every day, and you keep eating pizzas and chips and cookies and ice cream, I don't think you would notice any difference, other than you would benefit from the cardio, but I don't think you'd lose weight. So I stopped drinking sugar soda. What else? Now, when I say I stopped, that doesn't mean I don't have any sometimes. Sometimes I'll get a pepperoni pizza. Sometimes I will have cheeseburgers. Sometimes I will eat hot dogs. Sometimes I will have cookies and milk. It's been a few months since I've had ice cream, for example. So it would not hurt me if I got a pint of ice cream and gorged myself on it, because it's not going to be something I'm going to do on a regular basis. And that's what gets you fat, is when you regularly do things like that. Just my opinion, just from personal experience. But every time I go for a walk, depending on the length of the walk and how strenuous it is, it's between 700 and 1100 calories that I burn, according to my app. Of course, it's based on my height and weight that I entered into it, and they have a standard protocol for that. I am a bigger guy, and the weight I'm at now is my good weight. But some charts that they use, somebody that's my height should weigh 20-25 pounds less than I do, but I have 20 to 25 pounds of muscle more than other people do, because I'm big, strong, kind of athletic. Always been that way. And any doctor I've ever been to said, you know, your weight's perfect. And when I started gaining some weight and my blood pressure would be fluctuating, they would mention I could lose a little bit, but I wasn't obese. So I've never been obese, but I have had extra weight, and it doesn't take much extra weight to affect your blood pressure. It really doesn't. And so anyway, we got the woods out there. Might be time to do a woods walk, a gun talk soon, actually. Through there, maybe. We may do that. Might be nice after we've had some snow. There's my trail I usually take when I go in. It's one of the least common entrances. So anyways, my friends, stay out of trouble, keep track of what's going on, and don't let these Republicans elected for office get away with anything. Nothing. Call and make yourself heard to your representative. If you don't know who that is, do an internet search. You will be informed, and you will usually have a phone number to either call them and leave a message in Washington, D.C., or locally your local rep's office and senator.